And now you do have 2 children. They are 2 and 4. And after your first maternity leave, you did sort of go back in, I don't want to say to proper work, but to working for somebody else. How did you find that whole process, getting back into having a career after your first child?
I think that you lose your confidence when you've had a baby, and going back into work and juggling things. And when you become a mum, that's all you think about is your little child at home, who's looking after them, and it can be quite an anxious time. So yeah, I think going back to work is tough at all levels, really. I just went back part-time. I did 3 days a week back then, and then kind of moved it up to 4 days a week, and then I fell pregnant quite quickly after, so there's only 2 years between my children, and then you're faced with childcare issues after that. So yeah, that's when it becomes very expensive, and you've got to kind of weigh it all up, really.
You know, it's interesting you're saying about the anxiety that you feel as a mum, and the idea of going back to work again. I was listening to a podcast the other day with someone saying that what they found was that they struggled to remember who they were in a way when they went back to work. Like they'd sort of lost their identity as such, and they really found it hard to come back into that sort of idea of thinking about themselves. Did you struggle with that at all?
Oh, very much so. It's really tricky, and I don't envy the women that have to go back into very senior roles where, they are needed. Their brain has to be in gear at all times, and then they've got to also think about what's happening at home. So it's a really tricky time, very much so, yeah.
So you decided then to set up your own business. How easy was it to work out what that business was going to be?
Well, it was like a little gift, really, because I was coming to the end of my second maternity, and any mum out there will know that coming to the end of maternity is really, really hard, because you've got to make some serious decisions. And so my cousin popped around the house with a new spray tanning business that she'd just set up, and I said, I'll invite my friends round, and 8 of my friends turned up. I thought, gosh, this is really popular. And within a couple of weeks, some family commitments, my cousin had to go back to Ireland, and she said, why don't you take it over? So yes, that's how I ended up doing it.
I have visions though of that, because you say spray tanning kit. I've only done this once before, I have to admit, but it was in the UK actually, and it was in a sort of set up sort of business area. If you're doing this at home, isn't it kind of messy?
It's very messy. You have to have a room dedicated to it. We were lucky that we had just moved house, and there was this random conservatory out the back of my house, which really wasn't going to serve any purpose, and started off as a bit of a toy room, junk room, and then hey presto, it became the tanning room. Peel tan, yeah.
A conservatory, I'm just going to ask, that's glass windows. I take it you've made it a bit more private.
Well, in the summer I've got a grapevine that grows all over it, but yes, we've misted out the windows so my neighbours can't see in.
And we all know that these days we should be careful in the sun, but the fact is that most of us do feel a little bit better when we have a tan. The problem is, obviously, Olivia, is that you need to see people in the buff to do this, and that sort of confidence issue. I mean, I just wonder from your point of view how comfortable women generally feel. I mean, I'm assuming it's mainly women, but you may have some male clients as well. But how comfortable people feel about stripping everything off.
Well, I've been told, because I'm of a certain age, I'm in my 40s, I've had 2 children, I'm not a size 10, and I think that the younger ones see me as a bit of a mother, and the older ladies are a lot more comfortable. No one has to breathe in when they come and get sprayed, and I really do hope that people feel comfortable in my home as well, and it's not a salon experience. So yeah, hopefully everyone's a bit more confident when they come to see me.
It's interesting. Obviously, later on we're going to be talking about body image with regards to Love Island, and you were saying there is actually quite a marked difference with the body confidence throughout the ages, isn't there? How does it work from your perspective?
Looking back at myself when I was a teenager, I wasn't body confident at all. And the teenagers that are coming through now are either one or the other. Very black and white. They're either super confident, where they, are happy to be naked in front of their friends, to those that are excruciatingly, painfully shy. So yeah, it's just out there really.
So it's fantastic that you found something that you really enjoy doing, that you can do from the comfort of your own home, that works around your children. In terms of setting up your business, because obviously you've got all the legal things and the financial things to sort out. How has that process been?
So I did a small business course with the Isle of Man government, and that put me in good stead straight away. It's amazing. If anyone's thinking of doing anything with a small business, please go on that course, because you learn so much from it, and just having the confidence to actually do it. So just if you've got the idea, just do it.